She is known for being a British writer, philosopher, and advocate of women's rights. She is recognized for her influential works, including A Vindication of the Rights of Woman. Her name is Mary Wollstonecraft. In the late 18th century, amidst a time of societal constraints and gender inequality, a remarkable woman by the name of Mary Wollstonecraft emerged as a beacon of feminist philosophy. Born in England, Wollstonecraft defied convention by pursuing a career as a writer and philosopher, challenging the prevailing notion of women as intellectually inferior to men. Wollstonecraft's most notable work, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, ignited a profound intellectual revolution. In this groundbreaking treatise, she eloquently argued that women were not naturally inferior but rather lacked education, advocating for their equal treatment as rational beings. Her words resonated deeply within the hearts of women across the world, inspiring them to demand their rightful place in society. However, Wollstonecraft's unorthodox personal life became a source of controversy, overshadowing her intellectual contributions for many years. Her unconventional relationships and the subsequent publication of her memoir tarnished her reputation, obscuring her legacy as a feminist pioneer. Yet, as the feminist movement gained momentum in the 20th century, Wollstonecraft's ideas resurfaced, reclaiming their rightful place in history. Her advocacy for women's equality and her critiques of traditional femininity became guiding principles for generations of feminists, propelling the fight for gender justice. Tragically, Wollstonecraft's life was cut short at the age of 38, just days after giving birth to her second daughter, Mary Shelley. Despite her untimely demise, her legacy endured, as her daughter would go on to become a celebrated writer in her own right, authoring the iconic novel, Frankenstein. Mary Wollstonecraft's profound impact on feminist philosophy cannot be overstated. Her courageous pursuit of knowledge and her unwavering belief in women's rights paved the way for future generations to challenge societal norms and strive for equality. Her words continue to resonate, reminding us that the fight for gender justice is far from over. Mary Wollstonecraft, a renowned philosopher and feminist, was born on April 27, 1759 in Spitalfields, London. Growing up, she experienced financial instability due to her father's poor money management and violent behavior towards her mother. As a teenager, she played a maternal role for her sisters and even helped her sister Eliza escape an unhappy marriage, challenging societal norms. During her early life, Wollstonecraft formed two significant friendships that shaped her. The first was with Jane Austen, with whom she shared a love for reading and attended lectures on philosophy. Wollstonecraft cherished their friendship and had intense emotional attachments. The second and more influential friendship was with Fanny Blood, who opened Wollstonecraft's mind to new ideas. Seeking a better life, Wollstonecraft left home in 1778 and took a job as a lady's companion. However, the difficult nature of her employer made her return home in 1780 to care for her dying mother. Instead of going back to her previous job, she moved in with the Blood family, realizing that her idealized vision of Fanny did not match reality. Nevertheless, Wollstonecraft remained devoted to Fanny and her family, offering financial support whenever needed. Wollstonecraft and Fanny dreamed of creating a female utopia together, but economic struggles forced them to abandon this plan. They opened a school with Wollstonecraft's sisters in Newington Green, but the school eventually failed, and Fanny's declining health led to her untimely death. This devastating loss deeply affected Wollstonecraft and served as inspiration for her first novel, Mary, a fiction. Mary's frustration with the limited career options for women led her to make a radical choice. After working as a governess for only a year, she decided to embark on a career as an author. This was a daring move, as very few women at the time were able to support themselves through writing. In a letter to her sister, she expressed her desire to become the first of a new genus. With the help of liberal publisher Joseph Johnson, Mary moved to London and found a place to live and work. She learned French and German and translated various texts. She also wrote reviews, particularly of novels, for Johnson's periodical. During this time, Mary's intellectual world expanded as she attended Johnson's famous dinners and met influential figures like Thomas Paine and William Godwin. Although her first meeting with Godwin was disappointing, they would later develop a deep connection. Living in London, Mary formed connections with members of the Blue Stocking Society and pursued a relationship with artist Henry Fuseli, despite his marriage. She was captivated by his genius and proposed a platonic living arrangement, but Fuseli's wife was against it, leading to the end of their relationship. To escape the humiliation and participate in the revolutionary events she celebrated in her recent work, A Vindication of the Rights of Men, Mary decided to travel to France. Mary saw the French Revolution as a glorious opportunity for virtue and happiness. She criticized the conservative Edmund Burke's dismissal of the Third Estate and praised the actions of the women who marched the royal family from Versailles to Paris. Whereas Burke called them furies from hell, Mary recognized their struggles and wrote that they were likely hard-working women who never had the privilege of education. Mary's work gained recognition, and she was compared to influential thinkers like Joseph Priestley and Thomas Paine. Building on the ideas she proposed in A Vindication of the Rights of Men, she continued her pursuit of equality in her most famous and influential work, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman. Mary Wollstonecraft found herself in the midst of a turbulent and transformative period in French history. As she arrived in Paris in December 1792, tensions between Britain and France were escalating, and the country was in the throes of revolution. Despite warnings against her journey, Wollstonecraft sought out the company of other British visitors and became part of the circle of expatriates in the city. During her time in Paris, Wollstonecraft aligned herself with the moderate Girondins, rather than the more radical Jacobins. It was during this period that she witnessed a significant event that left a deep impression on her. On the 26th of December, 1792, she saw the former King of France, Louis XVI, being taken to be tried before the National Assembly. To her surprise, she found herself moved to tears, remarking on his dignity in the face of impending death, acknowledging the long line of his predecessors who had met a similar fate. As the political landscape in France shifted, life became increasingly difficult for foreigners. France declared war on Britain in February 1793, and Wollstonecraft's attempts to leave for Switzerland were denied. The Jacobin-dominated Committee of Public Safety came to power, ushering in a totalitarian regime aimed at mobilizing France for war. Foreigners, including Wollstonecraft, faced surveillance and strict regulations, with residency permits requiring multiple testimonials of loyalty to the Republic. Despite her sympathy for the revolution, Wollstonecraft's life became increasingly uncomfortable as the Jacobins gained power and the Girondins fell out of favor. Her French friends suffered the brutal consequences of the Jacobin regime, losing their lives to the guillotine. The once hopeful atmosphere of the revolution now carried an air of fear and uncertainty.
Do you want to explore more philosophers? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.